Now, moving on, Nigel Farage could be banned from hosting his GB News show, with Labour eyeing up a crackdown on MPs making paid media appearances.
It's GB News, and of course they're talking about MPs being banned from having second jobs, particularly presenting TV shows, because I imagine half of their presenters are from the Reform Party. But look who's here to present the case why MPs should be allowed to carry on being TV presenters. It's Reform MP and GB News host Lee Anderson.
But in this instance, do you think this is actually something else, a targeted attack to silence people like you and Nigel Farage?
I think, Martin, to be honest, this is more sinister. We've seen this new modernisation committee set up. Some people may say maybe like a kangaroo court. I think it's got 9 Labour MPs, 3 Conservatives, 2 Lib Dems. Funnily enough, not one single Reform UK member of Parliament is allowed to go on these committees, and they're trying to shut us down at every opportunity. One of the best platforms we have got, which is GB News, and I think we're quite impartial, to be honest, on our shows.
Yeah, because you have presenters from both sides of the divide, from the Reform Party to the Conservatives. Now watch in a moment as Anderson, unable to make a point when asked to debate a guest, just ends up sounding like a right dummy, throwing out stupid retorts. Plus, listen out for him making the case by saying he pays a lot of taxes is somehow another reason for him to continue having 2 jobs as an MP.
Especially Nigel. I mean, he's great. A decent platform like this, and what are they trying to do? They're trying to shut us down, they're trying to silence us. But this country, this great country of ours, Martin, will not tolerate this.
And now for the counterpoint to this, I'm joined by the author and broadcaster Rebecca Reid. Rebecca, welcome to the show. Always a pleasure to have your company. You just heard what Lee Anderson had to say. This is about democratic rights to free speech. What's wrong with that?
I'm sure Lee probably does think it's about that, but it's not. Nobody is stopping him from having his democratic right to have free speech. What they are considering doing is stopping him getting a big chunky paycheck for doing additional work on the side of his proper job. Now, if you're being an MP properly, it should be incredibly demanding, which is why I actually believe MPs should maybe even be paid more. But if you're doing it properly, it should be taking up all of your time. You should not have enough time to be an MP and also be able to do a full fast-paced media career. And also, the issue with having another job is that it biases you. It means you have a conflict of interest. It means that you're hearing from one demographic of people, and you have your specific sector in your ear, and that doesn't make you a neutral MP for your constituency.
OK, Rebecca, we have to leave it there. But Lee Anderson was about to leave, but he heard you. He'd like to have a quick go, because you've been accused of earning a fat chunk of money on the side.
Well, listen, I'd like to know how much this young lady pays in income tax here. I pay a lot of money, and the income tax I pay from my GB News salary actually pays for 1 qualified nurse every single year. That's my contribution from GB News. And she talks about, MPs not being impartial or not being impartial. But we're politicians, we're in political parties. I have a set of values which I stick to. Unfortunately, some constituents will never agree with me, but lots do. My vote should...
Your job is to serve the people who elected you. You are a public servant. It shouldn't be about what you want. It should be about what the people who gave you your job want.
Well, listen, let me come back on that. You know, just a couple of years back, young lady, when we had COVID on the pandemic.
Would you mind not calling me young lady? My name is Rebecca.
Is there a pronoun conflict?
Not a pronoun contact. I'm not particularly young. I'm in my 30s, and my gender is irrelevant. If you could just call me Rebecca, which is my name. I've worked on GB News.
Okay then, Rebecca.
We have met each other.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I think what you need to do, Rebecca, is go back to bed and call for a nurse.
Hey, come on, gentlemen, let's keep
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, Martin. This is absolutely ridiculous.
Let's keep it civil. All right, that was.
Thank you so much for that witty piece of debating. What a really clever.
Let's knock it on the head, Lee.
Click here for Farage worrying about losing his GB News gig.